You catch a whiff of someone's shirt in a crowded room, and before you've even turned to look at their face, something in your chest reacts. A pull, a flicker of interest you can't quite explain. You chalk it up to their cologne, or maybe just a coincidence, but the real answer is far stranger, and it's written into a sense your ancestors relied on long before they ever learned to judge a face. You didn't fall for a scent by accident. Your nose has been running a background check this whole time. For most of modern dating culture, attraction gets treated as something almost entirely visual. A face, a body, a photo on a screen, swiped left or right in half a second. But that visual-first story is astonishingly recent, and it may not even be the primary channel your biology is actually using. Underneath the swiping and the staring, something older and far less conscious has been quietly running the same evaluation for hundreds of thousands of years. In 1995, biologist Klaus Wedekind ran an experiment that would become one of the most cited studies in the science of attraction, and it started with a very unglamorous request. He asked a group of men to wear plain cotton t-shirts for 2 consecutive nights. No cologne, no scented soap, nothing to mask their natural body odor. Afterward, women were given the shirts, sealed inside boxes with a small sniffing hole cut into the side, and asked to rate how pleasant each shirt smelled. The results weren't random. Women consistently rated shirts as more attractive when they came from men whose immune system genes, a cluster called the major histocompatibility complex, differed significantly from their own. Why would something as invisible as immune system genetics show up as a smell preference at all? Because a diverse immune system in your children is a genuine survival advantage. The major histocompatibility complex helps your body recognize and fight off pathogens. A child with 2 genetically different parents in this specific region tends to inherit a broader, more varied immune defense than a child whose parents' immune genes overlap heavily. In other words, the women in Wedekind's study weren't just picking a nice smell. Their noses were quietly steering them toward partners whose genetic material would produce healthier, more disease-resistant offspring, all without a single conscious thought about genetics ever crossing their minds. Here's where it gets stranger. This wasn't some obscure human quirk layered on top of visual attraction. It may have come first. For most of human evolutionary history, spanning hundreds of thousands of years before written language, before mirrors, before artificial lighting let anyone linger over someone's face after dark, scent was one of the most reliable signals available. Faces can be seen only in daylight, at a distance, under specific conditions. Scent travels. It lingers on skin, clothing, shared spaces, close proximity in a way vision simply cannot replicate. An ancestor deciding whether to trust, approach, or bond with another person in the dim light of a cave or the deep dark of a moonless night had almost nothing else reliable to go on. Psychologist Martha McClintock spent decades studying how human scent signals operate beneath conscious awareness entirely, including groundbreaking work showing that women's menstrual cycles could synchronize through exposure to underarm secretions alone, with no visual or verbal communication involved whatsoever. Her research helped establish something that sounds almost unbelievable in a species that prides itself on rational, conscious decision-making. Humans are still chemically communicating information neither party is aware of sending or receiving, running entirely underneath the level of things you'd ever choose to notice. Zoologist Tristram Wyatt, who has spent his career studying pheromone communication across the animal kingdom, has pointed out that while humans lack a single, isolated love pheromone, the way some insects have, the broader category of chemical signaling, sweat, skin compounds, and yes, genetically influenced body odor still shapes human attraction and bonding in ways that operate almost entirely below conscious awareness. You're not consciously choosing to be drawn in. Your body is processing chemical information and only afterward handing your conscious mind a vague, unexplainable feeling and calling it chemistry, which is, in a strange way, exactly the right word for it. Think about what this means for the modern world you actually live in. Dating apps strip out the one channel your biology may have relied on most heavily for hundreds of thousands of years. You're evaluating a face, a bio, a handful of photos, and making a decision entirely through a sense that, evolutionarily speaking, is the newest and least reliable one available to you. Meanwhile, the far older system, The one Wedekind's shirts and McClintock's synchronized cycles both point toward sits completely offline until two people are close enough to actually breathe the same air. This might explain something almost everyone has felt at least once. Meeting someone whose photos didn't particularly stand out, and then feeling a completely unexpected pull the moment you were standing close enough to actually smell them. Or the opposite, someone who looked perfect on paper, in every photo, and then feeling something quietly, inexplicably off the moment you were physically near them, with no visual explanation for the sudden change in feeling at all. Your ancestors never had the luxury of falling for a photograph. They fell for whoever they stood close enough to breathe in, and their genes were quietly grading the results the entire time, running a compatibility check no conscious mind was ever meant to see. So the next time you catch a whiff of someone's shirt in a crowded room and feel that unexplainable pull before you've even turned to look at their face, you're not imagining it, and it's not really about the cologne. It's a signal running on hardware built for a world with no photographs, no profiles, and no screens at all. Quietly finishing an evaluation your ancestors' noses started long before your eyes ever got a vote. The more we learn about the past, the better we understand ourselves. If this video sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Phoenix Primeval for more fascinating stories from history, science, and human evolution. Thanks for watching.